Hi everyone, and thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartley here today with another episode of Presenting Champions for the Simply Inspired podcast. And today I have a very, very inspiring guest on the show. Truly honored and truly blessed to welcome professional Taekwondo athlete. I'm gonna have a go at this. Michal Zrihen. I hope I'm close there, you know. I've been practicing that. Anyway, this lady has some incredible achievements in the world of Taekwondo, including fifth place in the World Championships, bronze in the European Championships, multiple medals in the G2 tournaments, has competed in many Taekwondo fights, so many that she's lost count. Has been very active in that regard. She hails from Israel, currently back home there, but has also been training in Spain. And as always with my interviews, it's not just about sports, but today we're going to be talking about inspiration, motivation, how to achieve your dreams, and going a little bit deeper into things. Let's put it that way. So, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much for inviting me. Really, it's a pleasure for me. And I was really happy to get your message, to come to speak. And it's really my honor.
Well, that goes both ways, you know, and very much. And you've achieved a lot. But as I said to you before we started recording, you know, you have such a humble, warm, and genuine presence about you that I thought, you know, you need to come on the show. So here we are. So let's start at the beginning. Well, it's not really the beginning, but we start with the present day, you know, and what's happening at the moment in your life because you've chosen to return home to Israel to spend more time with family. You were telling me this story just now before we started recording. So please tell me again and everyone else as well about that decision to come back home and spend more time with your loved ones, basically.
Well, this is a little bit a hell of a story. But really, after 18 years of doing Taekwondo and dedicating myself to Taekwondo, uh, and 18 years that I knew what I want to do in life, I was dedicating myself to my passion, to Taekwondo, reaching my very best in this sport. I will tell you about it more, but traveling all over the world and moving to different places and even representing different countries, even though. So in the last half a year, before like 6 months ago, I just understand that my part of me has changed, and I don't feel the same, and I don't know what I want to do now because I was always led by the passion, and 6 months from now I just felt something has changed and it's time to me to move on. So it was really frightening and I was really scared in the beginning, but I understand that I'm changing, and it's maybe my time to move on. So I packed my things from Spain. I lived in Madrid, and I moved to Israel, to my family, to my house. And since it's been a while since I've been staying here for so long, but it's really curious time for me because after 18 years of traveling, dedicating myself my very best to the taekwondo to get my the best achievements. Now I'm here and I'm learning what is it to live a normal life. How is it to stay here, to meet friends, and to try to figure out what I love, what I like, what I get interested in, aside of taekwondo. So now I'm like I'm saying it's a little kid that finished school and he needs to figure out what's the next step. So I'm there right now.
Absolutely. Well, I'm sure that whatever you decide to do, the future will be very bright, because you have those skills, you have the dedication and the strength, inside to pursue a new challenge, So I hope that something good comes along, and I'm sure that it will. I have to ask as well, with regards to the future, do you have any interest in coaching or teaching with regards to Taekwondo and passing on any of your knowledge? Or do you think that you're going to move outside of Taekwondo altogether and do something completely different?
So the first instinct was to do something different, to figure out what's more interested me. So the first thing was not doing taekwondo and trying to figure out what other things are make me passion of. And but later on, I don't know, because one of the things that I used to do is to teach, to coach little children, and it was something that really filled me with a lot of energy, a lot of I love to give to children, to teach, um, to give my knowledge, and a lot of it is just to give the confidence to the small kids and to help. So these days I'm studying. I'm trying to figure out again what's interested in me, what I'm interested of, and I lately I was checking the therapy area, like treating with massages and some things that it's really natural nature for me, because I used to have many things all over during the year. I had so many physiotherapy sessions and nutrition sessions, and I know how to work with the body, and I love to help. So every time my mom came and tell me, oh, my shoulder hurts, I know where to touch or where to trigger the points, and I help her. So lately I understand I have some passion in it, so I'm taking that option now. Let's see what happens.
Absolutely. Let's see what the future holds, but I'm sure it will be good things for you, as I've said. So as we've started with the present day and we've started also talking about the future, let's look back a little bit as well, because one of the things that interests me is, in order to pursue your Taekwondo dream and to chase that dream, you left your country and left your home behind and went to Europe, to Spain. I know you said you were coming back and forth and everything, but I'd like to talk a little bit about that process, because it's a very brave decision to leave your country behind. So when you were living in Spain, was it difficult to adapt to like the culture and everything like this, or were you very comfortable straight away when you arrived there?
So I think the things that led me was the passion, was the aim, the goal to reach the highest level I can reach. So this is the most important thing. So when I arrived, I was just accepting it as it is, and I'm a friendly person, and so I just get along with things. And if it was the beginning, it was in Mallorca, so I lived in Mallorca for 1 year, and later on I've been moving to Madrid. And in each place, I found the people, my people, my friends. You don't always get along with everybody, of course, but I get to know the culture, and I studied Spanish, so I get to communicate with the people, and it's really important. And it wasn't always easy, because sometimes you find yourself in a whole different place, in a different culture, and you miss your parents, you miss your family, and your family back home, they have their own holidays, other cultures. So I found myself many times like beating my lips and trying to hold on and thinking about the next competition or what I want to get. what is my goal here, and this is what I held on.
Absolutely, that's wonderful. Well, as I said, it's a very brave decision to leave everything behind and chase the dream. Um, Obviously, it worked out well because you've achieved so many things to be proud of, so which we'll talk about in a moment. Well, yes, let's talk about this because obviously you were doing Taekwondo for many years and you've achieved a great deal of things. So I was thinking one of the best ways to break this down to make it simple for people would be to talk about some of your personal favorite moments, because we'll walk through certain competitions and we'll talk about them. But before we do, I would like to hear about which ones mean the most to you personally and the reason why those ones matter to you instead of a different one, if that makes sense. So let's talk about that a little bit, please.
Yes, okay, thank you. So, well, one of my favorite time and periods and points in life that I had was right after the army. In Israel, we have 2 years that we have to do in the army. Um, and me, I had the sports woman title, so I get to do taekwondo during. But right after, I was completely free, and I felt like here in Israel, I didn't had enough uh, partners to train with, and I felt okay. This is the time. Like all my friends needed to decide what they're doing in life, and my decision was, of course, take it one step higher, my level and my dedication. So this time I was I knew that one of my how do you say that one of the most famous athletes and the one that I admired, her name was Brigitte Yague. She was a trainer. She used to be an athlete from Spain. She was four-time world champion and four-time European champion, and she had an Olympic medal. So I heard that she has a center in Mallorca, and I told to my coach, hey, I want to go there. I want to study with her. And for me, it was like speaking with, if we take a soccer player, it's like talking to Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Messi, whoever. But this is the most I used to watch her as a kid, watching her competitions, and I remember it. My coach called me young Bridget, and for me to sending this message or to sending the letter telling them I want to be to learn from you. I want to come and to learn from you. It was one of the most amazing things that I did, and eventually I sent the message and they told me, yes, you can come and you can train. So it was 3 weeks of training. Later on, it became 1 month and then 2 months. And I went to live in Mallorca and to study from her. So this is one of the most, uh, the big achievement for me because I was really scared to do that step. And when I decided that I'm doing that and I'm really chasing my dreams and I'm really doing it. So I moved all my things to Mallorca and I studied from the very, very best. And this is one of the things that made me study from the high level. I understand I'm there. I understand I can join with the very best and I'm not falling from this level. So I got the courage to do that, and I think this is one of the main steps that get me to the next level in the way.
Wow. What an incredible story. I love that, how you're working side by side with your idol and somebody that you respected so much. And yes, a courageous decision as well, as I said before, to do that. Now, obviously, some people watching this and listening to this will know a lot about Taekwondo and everything. But some people listening to this will be curious to find out more. They'll be learning more about it. So I would like to talk a little bit about your training regime, basically. I know that it's hopefully not a boring question for you because it's what you do every day. But I still think to see behind the scenes of a successful athlete, a world-class athlete such as yourself, people see the competition and they see the tip of the iceberg, as the saying goes, but they don't see all the work underneath. So can you share with us a little bit about your training and what you were doing on a day-to-day basis, please?
Wow, okay, so it's a really big system and a whole world to create an athlete. And eventually, as you said, you see in the fight, in Taekwondo fight, it's 2 minutes or 1.5 minutes for 3 rounds. This is what you see in the end. Um, but it's a really long story and there's so much preparation and day-to-day training. So I will explain a little bit about Taekwondo. It's a martial art. It's a sport that the athletes use. It's basically it's using the legs for kicking, and so both athletes have the protection in the body, in the head, and we have the time that the 2 minutes, the rounds that we have to score, and you score by kicking the opponent, if it's to the body or to the head, and each kick provides you a point. So if it's a normal kick, it's 2 points. If it's spinning kick, it can be 4 points, or to the head, it's 5 points. So it's basically using your legs in everywhere to reach the opponent, and of course, using your arms to block or to your movement by moving around in the area. But you basically making your body the machine that you work with. So even though it's only 2 minutes of working, this is the 2 minutes that you have to make your very, very best. And in Taekwondo, if you lose your fight, it's a knockout. So you go home. So you have your preparation back home, and you can prepare yourself to the competition that will be in 2 months, 1 month, or for the Olympics, 4 years, and you have the 6 minutes fight that you have to give your very, very best, or you're going back home. So basically, my routine was training two times a day, six times a week, for 1.5 hour or 2 hours, and these trainings are from basic to like physical training, running, and body power and physiotherapy, and through technique training, like how to kick and how to make your technique the right way, and through fighting and a strategy, and doing all these things to cover, because the Taekwondo, it's not only how fast you kick, and it's not only how hard you kick or how cardio you have. You have also to have your mentally to raise your mentally to be your very best in this moment that you get to the court, because you can see in the warm-up area when you go to the fight that everybody kicks perfect. Everybody have the perfect key up when they get you their energy. Normally they scream and they make a lot of key up, and they have the perfect technique, and they're very fast, they're very strong. But in the fight, it's totally different, because you're not doing it on your own. You have the opponent, and it's not only who kick faster, it's who is better from the other one. And then it's a fight who gets to be one step above. So then you can see who is more fighter, who is attacking more, who is not afraid, who doesn't let the stress overcome. And one of the things that I used to do, I wasn't always on the higher hand all the time, but I can say that many fights I won because I didn't stop working. I didn't stop attack. I didn't stop. I didn't have these self-doubts, and I always kept going. And many fights I won in the last round, or when the opponent didn't have the air anymore. And this is so each one has his own strategy, of course, but um, in the end, it's not only how fast you are or how what is your conditions. It's using this and your body and to try to be to overcome your opponent.
Absolutely. Well, that's a wonderful description, first of all, because I was aware when I was asking that question, it's a big question for you. And I was thinking how to bring that into something people can understand, which you did really well. So thank you so much. And I'd like to focus just for a moment as well on what you said about the mental strength and the mental ability as well as the physical ability. Obviously, you were training from a young age and everything, so you developed a skill set. But to be mentally strong to handle the pressure or to handle the concentration that you have to have, or even like I don't know if you would get nervous or how you would feel beforehand, but these type of things, how did you handle that? How did you sort of push through those types of things to continue to compete at such a high level and continue to win, obviously?
Wow. Okay. So nervous and stress is one of the main thing that happens to you when you get this when you fight so hard, or when you want to achieve something so bad. You have the same stress because you want it. The times that I didn't feel the stress, when I didn't feel anxious, this is the time that I get to worry. And this is one of the things that I studied during the way, because in the beginning it was you get stressed because you're stressed, and this is what make you not react, or not to achieve, or not to be your best. And once you get to know yourself, or to know it happens, or to know it's something that is natural, and it's something that everybody gets. When I went the first time to Mallorca, and I used to train with the very, very best, I saw what they're going through, and I saw everybody get nervous. Everybody has their good day and not that good day, and it's something that is natural. And the ones who get stress from that is the one who doesn't get to perform in a good way. And I think I had in the beginning, as a child, I had a lot. You can ask my coach. I always told him, I can't lift my legs. I can't move them. I feel so heavy. I feel so tired. And it happens in the day of the fight because you want it so bad and you have only 2 minutes to perform. It's crazy. But as you get to you have to lose a lot of times to to be there. And but then you get to know yourself. You understand it's okay, it's part of the way. And as I heard before, you have to dance with the stress. You have to take it for your side, because if you're not stressed, it means your body is not ready. And it was for me. And I think that the times that I fought in my very best perform was in the peaks. I think I fought my best way in the World Championship and in the European Championship. This is where I get excited. I transport the stress into excitement. And I think this is where I feel myself with good energy. I remember my very best competition is where it's become like a big party for me. It's to come to the area and to shine and to enjoy it, and to release all the stress, and to say, okay, I can win, I can lose, I can do everything, can happen, but I will do my very best to work with who I am. And I believe I can do this. I believe I can win everyone. And I am very happy with what I did. And I can do that. So it's like to let's see what happens. Let's see what we can reach. Let's see where I can get. And this is the time that I think I perform my very best.
Wow, that is incredible because it's really cool because it's, as I said before, the side of things that people don't see, from the outside, So what I mean by that is, as you mentioned, people see the competition, people see the fight. Other athletes will know and relate to this of what you're going through. But for people who watch the fights, I think a lot of people assume that maybe top athletes don't have these emotions or they don't feel the same way, whereas everybody has them, but it's all about how you choose to handle them. So again, as I said at the beginning, it's an important life lesson for people, any area of life. If people are working on their education or starting their own businesses or doing a personal fitness journey, or it doesn't matter what it is, there's always going to be those mental challenges, but it's how we handle them. So very important life lesson there. Thank you very, very, very much. And following on from that, I would like to give a mention to the tournaments or the individual fights that were basically the toughest ones for you. But with this, obviously, as we've already been talking about, often when I ask people this question, it's not just the physical side of things. It can often be things that are going on in life outside of the competition. You have to focus through that, but it's not to focus on the negatives of, oh, that was challenging. What? No, no, it's very much like basically your toughest fights and how you pushed through them, and what you learned from them, and looking at it more from that side of what you gained, even if it was a very, very big challenge. And I know with how long you've been competing, this is probably quite a big question to pick maybe one or two, but are there certain ones that come into your mind with this?
Yes, I think the World Championship in 2017, this was the first time that I went to World Championship. It was in Korea. It was a big festival because Taekwondo came from Korea. So it's a big thing in Korea, and it was a really big venue, and many people came from all over Korea just to see us. And I remember I was really excited. And during all the competition, I remember it was a really thing for me because the first fight was against Russia, and it was a really hard fight. I didn't have any, I wasn't ranked, and I remember this is what I told you before. I started to fight, and I did my best, but she was over me. She got many points, and I remember one of she was led by a few points, and I kept pushing. I remember I had one breaking point that I felt like, oh my god, I'm losing. And I remember I didn't, in this moment, I just pushed away this thought, and I was kept fighting, and I kept fighting, and I kept pushing. And I remember in the third round, I just changed the score, and I remember I won because I just wanted it more. And I remember nobody believed, and I remember I went there like so proud of myself, so full of myself, because I know I nothing would stop me. Like, this is who I am, and I can reach wherever. And I was really proud. Um, and the second fight, I was also really, it was a big thing for me because I met the ranked number one in the category. It was from Cyprus. It was a girl, really good girl, that she was ranked number one. And each fight I had with her before, I lost in the last, I think, three fights. And as I told you in the picks in the World Championship and the European Championship, I always I get a better version of myself. And in this day, after three or four fights that I lost her before, in this fight we met, and as I told you before, I pushed all the time, and I get to overcome her also, like to win this fight also. So it was a really big thing for me. it was in the World Championship, and this is where I get the fifth place in the world. So I remember this day very, very well. But
Absolutely, an incredible achievement. And how does that feel? Basically, I mean, to be fifth place in the world, to reach such a high level, because we can talk about well, we have talked a bit about the tournament itself, but when you reach a level like that, what actually goes through your mind or in your heart or inside you, in that moment? Is it something that you can put into words, or is it just sort of beyond what you can describe?
so I think in the day that I get the fifth place, I was so bummer. I couldn't believe I lost the medal. So it was my heart was broken just because I lost the 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 quarterfinal to a Colombian girl, and this is what I had in my heart. My heart was broken because not getting the third place or the medal or to get to the final or to because I imagine myself as a world champion in this day. You have to imagine that when you get to this competition. But when I overcome the feeling of disappointment, I was like, wow, I get to a whole new level, and this is where I belong, and I did something incredible because it was also the first time in Israel that it was the highest place in the world champion for a senior woman. And I remember it was something really big for me also because this is the time that I also get inside the Olympic Committee project, and I get some support. Until then, I didn't get almost anything because it's really hard also as a woman, sport man um, to pay for everything because mainly it's you or your well, how you work or how your parents help you. And so I remember this after the world champion, I understand, okay, I'm there, and I was really proud.
Oh, and so you should be really, really proud of such an amazing achievement, reaching those dizzy heights that many people can only dream of, really, So it's an amazing, amazing thing. I know many athletes are obviously very hard on themselves and you always want to do better and everything, but it is still an incredible, incredible achievement, I would say. Now, when it comes to making history as well, which you mentioned there, and representing your country and everything, you have represented more than one country, but I'm not sure of the details of this, so you'll have to enlighten myself and the viewers. But yes, can you tell us that story a little bit, please, about the different countries you've actually represented?
Yeah, so as we spoke before, I was born in Israel, my family, and I was raised here. And I used to train and to fight through here. I had my team, my club here, and I used to be in the national team here. In the World Championship in 2017, I also was part of the national team, and I took the fifth place as an Israeli athlete. In 2019, fortunately, we had some things, and I understand I could not make it here in Israel. I cannot achieve my goals, achieve my dreams. And as much as I wanted, I understand I cannot do it through representing Israel. And actually, this is what was one of the most difficult time for me in my career because it was the pandemic time and I was outside of the the national team in Israel, and I understand I cannot go through this path I had, and I was without really a club here or training partners or some kind of structure how to train, how to do. And during this year, it was unknown period of time to everyone. And I remember how hard it was for me because I was a really really close to just say, okay, I can't do that. And if you ask my parents and my friends, it was look not really realistic to keep going. And I remember my friend asked me if I can come to a training camp, and I went to Austria. I met her, and then I get to know one of the Portuguese coaches, and he offered me to come and to represent Portugal with my second passport. And then I understand. Uh, we get to talk, and I talk to the federation, and I figure out a way. He helped me a lot, and I find again my way to do that. And when the pandemic stopped, I moved all my things to Madrid. This was the place that I thought would be the best place for me to train. I get to two trainer, two two of the best trainers I knew, and the athletes that were training for the Olympics, and they had medals from the Olympics and European titles and world titles. And when I had the option to represent Portugal, I said, okay, this is my time. I go all the way. I took all my savings. I told them I want to come. I can represent Portugal. I'm moving to Madrid, and please, let's do that. And I took everything and I moved there, and it was one of the best years I ever had. And it finished with the European medal for me, and making history in Portugal, and becoming the first woman that ever had a European medal, senior medal. And well, this is more or less it's a big story, but this is how it was for me representing Israel, then Portugal. And actually, I have a nice picture because another when I've been to European, there was also a girl from Israel that compete, and she also got the third place. So both of us were in the podium, and I get to stand, and above was the Israeli flag and Portuguese flag. So I was really happy to stand there, and it's like completing my story.
Wow, that is amazing. Absolutely amazing because I love the way that you didn't take no for an answer and you found a sort of creative way to move around things and continue your dream, you know? I mean, there's a lot of things in that story, but one of the things that stands out to me as well is finding a creative way around these obstacles and around these things. Um, I also have to ask as well, you know, only a few more things because of I'm mindful of your time and mine. But when it comes to your family and everything, you know, and your parents and things, do they watch your competitions? Do they ever get? I'm sure they believe in you and they know you'll win, but maybe they also worry a little bit as well because you know you are fighting people and it is tough. What is their response from like your parents or your close people in general, if you don't mind me asking about that?
So I think that your surrounding is one of the most important things that you have, and an athlete should have their support. And I was lucky to have my parents and my family and my surrounding with me, because um, it wasn't always easy. As I told you a bit about my way, it wasn't really always easy. But uh, I have amazing parents, amazing family that was always supported, and they didn't always say I should do that, but they always wished the best for me. And when I told them that this is what I want, and this is what I dream of, and this is what I want to do now, because this is my passion, they always try to support me, even though it wasn't clear for them that why I'm doing that, or how am I going to do that. I told you there were some times they were just they didn't understand what I'm doing. But they always supported me, and they always gave me their very best for me to achieve. And I think it's very important. They also had a process as a supporters. I mean, my mom in the beginning couldn't come to the competitions. She couldn't watch it because she felt what it's a fighting. So she always afraid for me how I feel, or so I wouldn't get hurt. But I can tell you, she also had her process as a mom and my parents. And I can tell you that in the last competition in Manchester in the European Games, I had them I had them in my venue. They were my mom, my dad, my surrounding, my biggest friends, my sister, my everyone came, and this was one of the most excited things for me. As I told you, for me it was a big party. So when I get to the stadium, I heard them screaming and cheering me, and it was like coming and fulfilling a dream. And for me, it was one of the amazing things that I knew that my family is there, and they will always love me, and they will support me always. So it doesn't matter if I win or lose, they will love me as I am. So I think it's one of the things that make the athletes feel so comfortable or so confident to give their very best. I wouldn't do that without them.
Oh, that's lovely. That's a lovely story. It's really nice actually. It's really heartwarming. And yes, I mean, family is the best blessing in life in general, but as well as that, who you surround yourself with is so important in any area of life, including friends and relationships and everything. They have to be the right people. We become like who we spend the most time with. But it's lovely hearing that story because when I talk with you, you're so gentle and you're so warm and friendly. And like, obviously, I followed your career and I've heard about you. But if we met on the street or something, I would never guess that you kick people and everything like this, just from meeting you, it's quite funny, to be honest, but in a nice, I mean, that in a nice way. So the last couple of things really, because we've talked about a lot, and I know there's a lot more we can talk about, but for people's attention spans, we've talked about some good topics that have the inspiration and the motivation as well. I also have to say that it's a brave thing for you, by the way, doing an interview in a language that's not your first language because your English
I'm
is
so sorry for my
your
mistakes.
English is so good. That's what I was going to say the other way. Your English is really good. And you haven't like made any mistakes or anything. Like it's really good. But I think it's very brave because obviously you're speaking here. And even though it's just us talking now, you're basically public speaking because people are going to watch, obviously. And I think I got so much respect for that because your English is great. I mean it as a compliment to you that you're doing really, really well with that. To do an interview in like basically a different language. So that's a brave thing as well.
Thank
Uh,
you. I told you before that I'm sorry for my mistakes if I had some. And this one I need to thank again to the period of time that I used to be in Spain, because in Spain I needed to speak Spanish, and not Spanish and not English is my native language. So I think it was a big thing for me, to one of the things that I learned during the way. So I'm really thankful also for that.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing really well with that. And I just wanted to say, a little well done with that because it's not an easy thing to be doing. And you're doing a great job. So what was I going to say even? Oh, I also wanted to ask you as well about your advice for young athletes. We've talked about a few things here that are applicable to any life area, as I mentioned. So, whatever people are doing. But if we're focusing specifically on people who want to succeed in sports, I know it's a big question, but if there's maybe one or two things that you could share with this, if there's some athletes who are basically starting out, or they're in any early stages of their careers, or any stage really, if they want to learn, but particularly for people who think, right, I have a big dream, how do I get there? What would be one or two things that you would like to say to those people?
Okay, so first I think that each one who have his passion should should do whatever it takes just to be there, just to enjoy his passion, to enjoy um, his curiosity or whatever it takes. And I think it's not. Um, I think that I had many times in the way that I didn't enjoy. Sometimes it's stress, sometimes it's not sure, or self doubt or whatever. And I think every time that I had these moments, I needed to take one step back and to just to look at the way, on the path that I'm going through, and I need to enjoy every day of training, every day of doing what I'm doing. And sometimes I was so stressed to get the results, and then I needed to remind myself it's not the results, it's like how I progress, how I am getting better from each day. And it's not easy because we are competitive people. We always try to get our best, but you have to enjoy every day to get your best. You have to enjoy your training, enjoy suffering sometimes from doing pushing yourself to your very best. But you have to remind yourself, because if you're not enjoying the way, it's not worth it. You have to look for something different. I love Taekwondo, so, and I love training, and I love to use my body to achieve my goals or to push myself to my limits. But if I didn't have the joy from these things, I wouldn't do that. It wouldn't take me to the different country. So I think everybody should get focus on the day to day and to try to enjoy what they're doing, to find their pleasure in what their passion. And as I said before, it doesn't mean that every day and all the time you will be happy, because it takes a lot of time, and you need to work a lot, and a lot of day of training, and a lot of pushing yourself to your limits. But I think you have to look at the way and to say, okay, I'm doing what I want to do, or I do and I enjoy the way.
Absolutely. Well, that's a very powerful lessons actually for people, and I really hope that that reaches some people who are in the early stages of their careers as well, and helps them, which I'm sure it will, because I'll be putting this out there around the world, basically, and people watch from all over the place. So um, thank you very much for this today. We've talked about a lot of good things, and I know, as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things we can go deeper into, but I'm happy because we've talked about some of your highlights, and what I mean by that, some of your proudest moments, which is, I think, the best way to do it, given everything that you've achieved. If we were talking about all of it, we would be here until like next week or something. So to condense it down, and we've had some really nice life lessons. Last thing, before we finish up, you said about your coaches, and you said about your parents and your family. Is there anyone else who has helped you along the way that you would like to thank on here? Or have we talked about everybody who has given you that helping hand?
So as I said, it's my parents,
Mm.
is my very best partner, Bar, who was with me all the time and during all the way, and my coach that's ever since I've been going through all the way to Madrid, to Mallorca, wherever he was there. And I think I want to thank well, you. Well, this is basically what I had in my mind. Well, I have a bunch of people, but this is the psychologic and the doctors and the nutritionist and the physiotherapist, and I have a list of people that were part of me and part of my way. Okay, so I just wanted to thank, beside of my family and my partner Bar, I wanted to thank Portuguese Federation who let me represent them and pushed me also by their side, and I was really happy, really thankful for that, and also again for my physiotherapist, for my doctor, for my all my surrounding, my coaches in Israel, my coaches in Spain, my partners all over the world. So I'm really thankful for that and for them being part of my way. And I felt I was always representing me and them in some kind of way. And that's it.
Absolutely. Well, it's good to give them a mention and get their names out there. Thank you for the kind words to myself. I mean, it's a pleasure both ways, and I've really enjoyed talking with you. The time has gone by fast, for me in a good way, in the sense I've just been listening and thinking, wow, this is amazing, and it's been so fun. So I really enjoyed it, and I hope you have as well. And the last thing for me to do is just to thank you for your time and thank you for your effort, explaining everything and making this happen.
Thank you very much. It was really a big pleasure for me to sit here to talk with you and to share moments to get excited and to remind myself what I've been going through. So thank you a lot. It was really a big pleasure for me.
And for me as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.